Hello, and we are live. Hi, everybody.
Hey, we're live.
Welcome to The Village. I'm your girl, Dr. Roz, CEO and founder of The Village Leadership Group, LLC.
And y'all know I had to join her. I'm Coach Williams. I am the content supervisor for the Village Leadership Group, LLC.
Listen, we are so excited that you are joining us. We are continuing our conversation all about building positive school culture. That's what we are about. Yes, we want to make sure that we are encouraging our teachers to be leaders and making sure they know that teacher leadership is a mindset,
Not a position.
But we are also all about building a collaborative school culture. So today we have some special guests.
Oh, we need a drum roll.
Right. They are joining us, coming back to the village. These are our village elders, and they are joining us to talk about what it takes to build a positive school culture. You know, how do you deal with the negative folks?
That's not this episode.
Right, that's not. But how do you make sure that we have good vibes?
Only.
All right. Again, join the discussion. We want to hear from you. What do you do to make sure that your school is positive and you have good vibes in the building? How do you celebrate the staff? How do you engage in courageous and difficult conversation?
Yeah.
That's, it's needed.
Celebrate our babies too.
Right, exactly. So that's what we're talking about today. Again, we're all about coming together as a village because we want to encourage, motivate, and inspire teachers, school leaders, educators. Because together we are village strong. So again, join the discussion. So let's get our guests.
I know. Come on.
All right, come on. Josh Tovar and Sean Mason, welcome back to the village.
Hey guys.
What's going on?
Hey.
So excited. So I'm going to start with Sean Mason, one of my favorite village elders, who is, representing the orange and blue. I see you.
No one knows what that is.
Morgan State University. Our homecoming is this weekend. HBCU proud.
Yeah.
So again, we all, not all of us, but Sean and I, we are very proud to be Morgan alum. And that is where I became, an educator. That's where I learned to be a teacher.
Perfected your craft.
Exactly. So, Sean, how do we make sure that we're bringing that positive energy to our school as teachers, as educators? How do we encourage that positive energy?
Well, the first thing is that you got to make sure that that your life is in order and that you have positivity. That's the first thing, because a lot of times, a lot of our school leaders and just people who are in charge bring their outside baggage in. So I think the first thing is that check all your problems at the door, leave them right at the door, bring in some good energy and understand that, you are building a village and that you are there to motivate people who are trying to change the trajectory of young people's lives. So if you don't motivate your staff and your staff doesn't feel motivated, then that right there is just the worst thing. So you got to bring that positive energy, whether it's just shouting your staff out, doing like little small things, because as we all know, as educators, there's really, really no amount of money that can really repay all of the things that we do, but it's just the little small things. If you remember those little small things and kind of just highlight those people in that and just make them feel good, that starts the whole positivity thing. And just, always understanding that, especially when you go into meetings, we have a thing this year that we started that, you always have to put a positive spin on whatever it is. So whatever you're getting ready to talk about, don't bring it from a negative standpoint. So,
I like that.
I tell people all the time, don't come to me with a problem unless you have the solution first. So,
Right, you can't be all negative. All right, so Sean, tell the people, reintroduce yourself to the village. I forgot that part. But again, thank you for that nugget. But tell the people who's Sean Mason.
We know you.
But tell the village.
Good afternoon, village. Well, good evening, rather. My name is Sean Mason. I am the CEO and founder of Rise Mentorship Academy, LLC, right here in New York City, Brooklyn, New York. I am a proud alumni of the best HBCU, Morgan State University. Yeah, let's go Bears, let's go. And I am a 26-year educator and just a advocate for making sure that young brown people, or just all kids in general, have safe spaces to learn and grow. But especially have an affinity for just making sure the young brown boys are just leaders and future global leaders. So
Yes.
that is who I am. I probably want to say that also too. I just came back from Ghana, taking 8 young men from Brooklyn. That was an amazing experience. So educationally and just life transformed. So that is who I am. Thank you for having me back in the village. It's always great to be here.
Oh, awesome. And Mr. Josh Tovar is in the building. Come on, Josh Tovar. All right, so Josh, I mean, everybody knows. If you don't know Josh, I don't know where y'all been.
Under a rock.
But right, so Josh, tell us who is Josh Tovar, and then tell us a little nugget about building positive cultures in your school. I know you're going to talk about relationships. I know you're going to talk about it because I know that's what you do. But go ahead, reintroduce yourself to the village.
My name is Josh Tovar, the proud principal of Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland ISD, Garland, USA, here in the Lone Star State of Texas. Greetings to everybody out there in the East Coast, saying thank you for allowing me back into the village. I appreciate that. And you know what? One of the most important things is, as Sean said, is what we bring to the table. We all have spheres of influence. The custodian, it's the cafeteria. The secretary, it's the front office. All of us are leaders within our spheres of influence. And how we bring, or what we bring to the table, Sean, I love what you said, is exactly how that day will run or how that moment will run. Because it's always about, and we said this, and we tell our kids, it's 10% what happens, but it's 90% how we react to it.
It is.
We said that to our kids. Ain't no different with us. Ain't no different with the cafeteria manager. Ain't no different with the assistant principal or the administrator or the classroom mate. It's about how we turn around and we say, you know what? Let's make chicken out of chicken salad. All right. So it's very important that we make sure that as leaders, and it doesn't matter who, our team members, they're classroom leaders and what they bring to the table. And you know what, Sean, the reality is we're not in the science business. We're not in the history business. We're not in the math business. We're in the people business.
Yeah.
And the thing is that it's kind of hard sometimes to leave the baggage in the trunk. It's very difficult. And that's why as leaders, both sitting in our chair as administrators or team leads, it's very important that we create that bond amongst the body of the campus, that we create that culture to where, you know what, you could say without feeling in fear of being looked down upon, without the fear of anything, and say, you know what, I need 40 minutes. I need to walk around because I'm going through a divorce. How many of us have not seen divorces at our schools? Come on.
Right.
How many of us have not seen deaths in our families of our parents?
Right.
How many of us have not seen a terminal ill son or daughter? I ain't going to be teaching A squared plus B squared equals C squared in my A game.
Yeah.
We, as leaders, either the classroom leader to the side of you, as administrators, we need to be able to create that beautiful, untoxic culture to where people say, I can't. I need help. Someone cover me, please. I need to shake this off because I am not the best version of myself. And you know what happens? I cheat my kids.
Right.
So it's very important that all of us work in conjunction and create that ability to be vulnerable, to say, you know what? I don't have my A game today. And because of everything that's happened within the last 3 years, all that has done is unmask who has a good culture and who has a negative culture.
Exactly.
I agree with what Jimmy Casa says. Before the pandemic, we were good at hiding stuff, but you know what? Now with the pandemic, all those gaping holes are available and for everyone to probe. So it's how or what we do point forward. Sean, yes, leave it at the door, but you know what? Somebody that sits in my chair, I need to make sure that I tell my team members, Vente, come here. Let's work together. You need time out, I got you. Stay home if you got an ill son or daughter. Because you know what? Family comes first. If your child is sick at home, your parents sick at home, and they don't feel comfortable, why do we have to force them to come home or to work? Where is their mind?
Where's your compassion? Yeah.
So we need to create that. And so right now, what my goal is, and as we get further into the call, as Principal Cafele says, is making sure that we address the specificity of how we provide that support. Because again, we're in the people business.
I love, what they both hit on is just being compassionate. That's really it. I think about when I was in the classroom and you have that favorite student, and they might not show up in the best light that day or that period. Then they come back and they act like nothing has happened, nothing has transpired. They didn't just curse you out first period. They come back and you're like, what? But we have to start over. We have to bring, like you said, that best foot forward, and be forgiving, because it gets rough in education. Everybody thinks it's a lot of sunshine and rainbows, but it gets rough because we are dealing with people. We're dealing with their personal baggage. We're dealing with what happened at home, what happened just a few minutes ago, what happened the first period, second period. So I love it, being compassionate, really hearing people.
Yeah. So again, one of the things that I know Josh Tovar always does, if you follow him on any of the social media platforms, you will see that he is celebrating his staff members as well. So you have to be intentional about, lifting up the good in your school.
Absolutely.
And celebrate your teachers, celebrate your students, and encourage them as well.
Uh-huh.
So Josh, I know right now, we have Hispanic Heritage Month going on. We have all these different ways that we can celebrate our students and our families and our communities, and that helps to build that positive culture. So talk about a little bit about the different ways that you honor and celebrate your students and parents, the community, and staff.
Well, I'll take this in three parts. Number one, the quick one, I got taught by the best teacher out there, my mom. Bless her soul, she was the best ankle biter for administrators. And she would always say, I don't like this administrator does this person does this. So I took mental notes. I said, this is what's good, this is what's not good. So I input that. When you do something, it has to be a pattern of behavior. And once you establish that pattern of behavior, you can't stop. Because one of the things that she disliked the most was an administrator who would do something for one time. Teacher appreciation and a lunch and a pen does not make me happy and does not promote us. So it's about establishing those patterns of behavior. Now, what I'm going to do real quick is I'm going to hand the stick and track to Sean real quick, because my 3-year-old is crying and he hit himself. So I'll be right back, okay, to the other two parts.
Okay.
Yes?
That's true.
So Sean, how can we celebrate our community, our teachers, our staff members, our community?
Well, definitely piggybacking on what he was saying is that the appreciation can't only come once a year. So it has to be something, as I was saying, on a daily, not even on a daily basis, but weekly. Your teachers have to be encouraged on a daily basis, because as we all know, you never know what's going to happen once those kids get in the door. A day can go from just being great or from period to period. So teachers really, really need that encouragement and need to know that, like he was saying, that there's a safe space. And what I was saying with leaving your baggage at the door is as the school leader, leaving yours so that you can have those moments where teachers can come in and be like, listen, I'm really not feeling it, or whatever is going on in their lives, so that, you're building that great culture. So even in that, but it can't be just one time. So just feeling and knowing that you're supported and that you have that safe space within your school community with your leaders, so that know that, oh, even if you don't have the greatest lesson, that you can roll into your administrator's office and feel confident to say, listen, this lesson really flopped today, but that's a good thing. So let's kind of sit down and figure out how we can get it. It just didn't go, and you could have planned it. We know we've done that. We've planned and we've prepared and we've got everything, and the students are sitting there like
that happens so much.
More often than we want to admit.
Right, and then you're sitting there like, oh my gosh, like, so so just having those safe spaces and understanding, but just feeling it on a regular basis and feeling appreciated. There's a difference in going to work. Because I had a principal that one time, everything, well, you're going to get paid for it. You're going to get paid for it. And that's really not the same thing. I mean, I'm at a point in my life where money is not what I'm looking for. That's not the value of things. So I do what brings me joy. So if you make it an environment where people, feel like they're appreciated, then you get more. And people...
Exactly. They feel appreciated and they feel supported as well.
Yes.
And they feel seen.
Mm-hmm.
So,
I was going to say the same.
Yeah, so that's so important, and that's that's worth more than $1 million. I mean, I do want $1 million, but
yeah, when you say that, I was like,
we want to get paid too. But it's good when you're in an environment where, you feel supported.
Mhm.
And so one of the things that I love, we talk about building relationships, but when you are working as a team,
Yes.
I've been in schools where all of the teachers felt isolated. They didn't work collaborative. So one of the ways that we can make sure that we have a positive school culture is encouraging teachers to work collaboratively, right? So you got to make sure as a school leader that you provide the structures for that in your building, that you encourage it as well. Is that you promote that the science teams, they're meeting together, that the math team, the third grade team, that they're meeting together and supporting your new teachers. Your veteran teachers need support.
Everybody.
So you're making sure they have the resources that they need. And that is a way to build positive culture as well. So Josh, I want to hear more about, one of the things too, that you're big on is, recognizing the hard work of your staff, and supporting them. So talk more about that, please.
Gotcha, and I apologize for that.
No problem. Go ahead.
When you're daddy for the second. All right. So just like Sean said right now, it's not about money. Trust me, we offer a lot of money right now for people to cover classes or to take over classes because of lack of teachers. And what are our team members saying? I'm done with that. I'm done with them. But it's about acknowledging. So this takes me to part two. Number one was you don't do things one time. Part number two is this. You always acknowledge every minor success. We're in the people business. So it doesn't matter what it is, and you tie it into your pattern of behavior. This is why principals and assistant principals have a horrible job of doing this because they're not consistent to what their vision is, which should be their heart. So whatever you're doing you make it a pattern of behavior. And once that becomes a success, then you add another thing to your plate and you expand upon that. Like for us, the specificity, please follow us on social media or our campus. Number one, every Monday, we celebrate all the kids with a positive message on a lollipop, and every teacher gets a motivational quote with a pack of M&Ms. Every Wednesday, it's pop through the week. We're almost there, and everyone gets popcorn. And we do student of the week. We acknowledge our middle school kids, we acknowledge our high school kids and our non-traditional kids, and we've posted on social media, and we say, we love you, we're here for you because you're the future of this beautiful country. Every Friday, we have a School Pride Day. Every Thursday, we have College Day, and we go around promoting what our vision is. So it's about establishing those patterns of behavior of success. Always making sure that every Thursday, teachers acknowledge one student and we put them as the star of the day. And that's all in our cafeteria, our students of the week, our stars of the day, our college spotlights. I might do those schools that you're mentioning right now for Thursday. And it's about Morgan State all the way. And it's making sure that they know what our vision is. And that takes me to part three. You see, I'm an immigrant to this country. I wasn't born in this country. I love my country. I love saluting my flag. I was in the Marines and I gave back to the country that's given me so much. But you know what? If we truly are a melting pot and we are leaders, we need to make sure that we talk about all of us being together in this mission of making this country the best thing. So it's my job to always acknowledge, if you follow us, and you'll see this, everybody, whenever there's a country that is their independence, I post it out there. If it's Hispanic Heritage Month, I post someone Hispanic. Right now, it's Filipino American Month, it's German American Month, it's Italian American Month. So I'm putting 4 people per day. Does it take some time? Yes, it does take some time. But you know what? I cannot fake the funk, as Principal Cafele says. I got to put my money where my vision is, and my money is time. Right now, the number one thing, the currency is time, and we need to promote it. And for my sake, my 2 cents, my personal opinion, I am sick and tired that whenever we have these months, you only spotlight comedians, artists, or athletes. I'm sorry. Our people are more than performers for you. So all I ever do, and you see that during Black History Month, it's athletes. Why? During right now, J-Lo, Shakira, why the hell do I want them promoting? All I promote during these months are astronauts, chemists, entrepreneurs, people that are other than, because you know what? I'll let 99% of our dumb education field promote Shakira and J-Lo. I need to promote our kids what the vision is. And you know what? The only way we keep enhancing this beautiful country of ours is by making sure that they are provided with a vision and opportunity of people that did not have it, but now they were able to be successful. And that's my goal. My third part: promote different ethnicities, promote different countries,
Wow.
always establish patterns of behavior for success, and don't do it only once. You got to keep on doing it. And you know what? I need to hold myself accountable for that, because if I don't hold myself accountable for that, then I will be the status quo as everybody else with a toxic campus.
Whoa, that
I was like,
was that's why he's here.
mic drop.
Right. That's why he's here.
And we're done.
Good vibes only. Right. This is why Josh Tovar is in the building.
And I love how he brings it full circle.
If you're talking about school culture, you need Josh Tovar on the panel. So one of the things, again, unfortunately, Sean, we all can't work at Josh Tovar's school.
I know. I was about to say, listen, I'm coming to Texas.
Like you got to stop.
Right. So,
just in the fact of, you said something very key. And it just, I was talking to my administrator last week or whatever, and I asked her, I was like, what is your vision? And she didn't have one. That's
Wait, everybody just calm down.
I was like, what is your vision? Because we were talking about the third grade class that I've taken over, whatever. So I was asking her, what is your vision for what it is that you want to see, and I will, fill in the inside of it. And she hadn't, and I was taken aback, and she thought it was okay, but I was like, okay, but
you need to invite her to the village
to watch.
Right.
No, what I am going to do.
Often, you need to have a vision. You need to know your why. You need to have your purpose, because that drives everything else.
How does she know that you're going to be aligned?
Right.
What's going on?
And that's simply what I was asking. But what I am going to do is I am going to invite her to Josh's media, because I think she needs to see it. So we're going to bring her into the village.
Yes, definitely. That's why the village is here, to connect people. All right, that's what we're about. But listen, unfortunately, sometimes you have negative people.
Oh, Jesus.
I know.
Negative
I know Josh doesn't see this, but I'm talking about for the rest of us.
Josh is like, okay.
Unfortunately, some of us, and as teacher leaders, because we're talking to our teacher leaders too, you're not exempt. Teacher leadership is a mindset. So don't think we're just talking about principals and administrators, but our teacher leaders too. How do you confront or engage with the negative people on your team or your staff members who are negative? They're always complaining. They come to you with, different issues, but they don't bring solutions. So how do we deal with, even though we're building this positive collaborative culture, it's going to happen, where there's a few people who just kind of want to plant those negative seeds in the building, but how do you shut them down? I'm going to start with Josh, because I don't even think he knows, he doesn't have this in his school. Josh.
Oh, no. Oh, I've had my share. Let's start off with this. You need to understand, it doesn't matter what you offer team members. Quote me on this. Hurt people, hurt people.
Yep.
Here comes again. Hurt people, hurt people. So it doesn't matter what you offer them. They are toxic walking humans. Mm-hmm. So it doesn't matter. They will always find a problem to your solution. Gotcha. So we need to understand that sitting in our chair, okay?
So don't be shocked. Okay.
And they become part of a new clique. They're known as the Weebies. Do you know the Weebies? Have you ever met the Weebies?
No.
It's a group of three. It's a group of 3 to 5 people, and they're called the Weebies. We be here before you. We be here after you.
And I was like, I'm not familiar with this term.
Okay, so these Weebies are there to ride your time out, because you know that an administrator's time is not that long. So the Weebies, this too shall pass. This too shall pass.
Wow.
So you have a conversation with famous people like Todd Whitaker and Jimmy Casas. They bring 2 things to the table. Todd Whitaker says, I'm going to help you, but if I think that you're a pain, I'm not going to be dealing with you anymore, because you're going to keep being a pain. Mm-hmm. And Jimmy Casas says, you got to get 100% buy-in. Well, you know what? As an administrator, you got to hear these 2 different philosophies and find out what's right for your campus.
Exactly.
You always treat people with professional. And you always tell them that that open door policy does not stop when we get home. As a leader, I need to make sure that they're able to vent whenever it is. And if it's something that helps kids, let's work together. If it's not, then I call it an awkward conversation. And I say that openly in front of all staff meetings because I have to have the wherewithal to say we're going to have awkward conversations. Hey, Sean, it's just you and I show, okay? Because they must have gone somewhere else.
Let's go.
So, and you know what, Sean? And that's the thing. I believe that you need to have someone that leads your campus that is able to have an awkward conversation that might be uncomfortable. And I think that's something that you can respect. Welcome back, guys.
Thank you for joining us.
Right, thank you for joining us. This is the
Thank you for
village.
holding it down.
And so it's about making sure that you are also, and this might be a crude word, and I apologize, but administrators cannot be cowardly and not have those awkward conversations. Because you know what? There's a lot of coward administrators out there that create the toxicity because they allowed other people to be evil in the classroom against kids or against their colleagues.
Yeah.
So it's about having those nonstop conversations and what your expectation is, but still treating them with respect.
Right.
Still, you know what? I might not like you, but I'm going to give you a donut on Friday. I really don't like you, but I'm not going to act like I don't like you.
Right.
So I need to always treat you as a professional because you know what? Someone's child is in that class, and I got to do everything that's possible to try to turn you around to be in my vision. But you know what? If you're against kids, I'm going to start documenting. And remember this, if it's not in writing, it didn't happen. If it's not in writing, it didn't happen. So once you start writing stuff down, then you're on a different pathway.
Yeah.
A different pathway where, you know what, maybe in this marriage, it's time for one of us to go. And you know what, maybe I think you're going to be going somewhere else. But you still treat them with respect. You cannot be scared. And you know where this comes into, and I'll close it with this. You know where the major problem is here? During teacher evaluations. The administrator that does not want to face a horrible teacher at that moment during that snapshot of the walkthrough or the observation,
Right.
and they don't want to tell them specifically because they don't want to go through the battle or the climate conversation. And you know what? I've walked into those situations where they say, well, last year, the administrator gave me all glowing. You're giving me proficient. You know why? Because they were cowards.
Right.
They didn't want to have the conversation with you that you can't sit behind your desk all 45 minutes and you can't be giving dittos because that does not prepare the kid.
Right. Right.
So open door policy, setting expectations, treating everyone with professionalism, and always making sure that you have awkward conversations when you have to, especially when it comes down to taking care of kids' success.
Awesome. Awesome. Sean, I want to get you on this because this is one of the things that teachers also, teacher leaders kind of want to stay away from, the negative folks on their team and not engage in these difficult conversations.
It's easier.
Or they'll just go to the principal and like snitch on their colleague, like, you need to go do something.
And that's it.
Right. But, but as teachers, you can engage in a courageous conversation with a colleague, peer to peer. Let's have this conversation. So Sean, talk about that. Like, how do we deal with negative folks on our team as a staff member? Now, you're not a principal or an administrator, you're teacher to teacher. How do we deal with that?
I was just about to say, and what Josh was saying is it kind of leads into that. It starts with just the whole staff because everyone has to be able to. Adults need to be comfortable with having awkward conversations with whomever it is, because that's the problem right there. We can't be punks. And I tell people that all the time in the building. If whatever conversation I'm going to have with you, I'm going to have with the next person. So there's no need for you to be a snitch or you to think like, because we're going to have the conversation, because that stops it at the right there. If I feel from colleague to colleague that there's a problem, then listen, you find a way to have that awkward conversation. Listen, hey, can I just have a word with you for a moment? And you have to have it, because sometimes it could be a misunderstanding on both ends. You never know, whatever it is, rather than allowing something to go on and on and on. Right. That moment that you feel that awkwardness, have that conversation and get that clarity. And then you move on from there, because then that tells you, well, maybe it is something where you might need to bring in a mentor or some, a third party or someone to kind of facilitate so that you two can get on the right page. Because at the end of the day, it's not about me or you. It's about the growth of our children and their development. Exactly. So that's what I meant by putting your baggage at the door. Like you gotta take all of that and just get rid of all of that and understand that we're here to work for the betterment of children. And that's that. And so having those awkward conversations, you have to do it. You gotta do it.
And sometimes, I'm sorry, Sean.
No, that's it. I'm good.
No, I was just gonna say, and sometimes nobody has had that conversation with that toxic person to check them, and then once you say something, they be like, "Oh, you know." So we being courageous, it is difficult. I know, like when I was a younger teacher, not as young as I used to be, y'all. But being younger, and when I would talk to some of the veteran teachers, and their approach, and I didn't know how to have that conversation. Um, until I did feel empowered by my department chair to express and to share. And then I started doing different trainings and things. So that empowerment, feeling a sense of almost community to feel comfortable to say something is also something great that teacher leaders, you actually have a huge responsibility in empowering your team.
And I'm quite sure a lot of their resentment came from, you think about it, you were the hot and young teacher, and you knew everything, and now, even now, and which is what Josh was saying which was so important, is that, and you said as well, older teachers need just as much support as the younger teachers, because now you're dealing with a lot of technology. So you have older teachers that are just like, oh, what? And I'm used to just, having my grade book and putting everything is, so that's a whole space in itself. So in this profession that you were once great at has now morphed and changed, and now the pandemic, and now everything has to be online. And so that they need just as much support. So, like you said, having those awkward conversations and finding out what the root is, and just finding that approach. It's have it. Just, find a great way to say the negative things, but have that conversation.
Definitely.
Can I piggyback off what Sean said? Can I piggyback off what Sean said right now?
Go ahead.
Yeah.
Sean, it's so true about our seasoned colleagues in the classroom, our team members. And that's why someone that sits in my chair or in Roz's chair needs to create the appropriate climate, not culture, climate, to where that team member needs to go see a first-year teacher. They need to be able to have the wherewithal to bend the knee and go and say, hey, you know what? This kid is bringing all these brand new toys. I still have the Atari 2600, but this guy's got the Nintendo 77 billion. So things have evolved. But you know what? If administration does not bond the generations, if administration does not bond the vision of making sure, hey, go check out Teacher X. They rock at this. If we don't promote the success, and you know what? That's what sucks about our educational field also, is that we don't like the kudos, but we also hate when we get them promoted. Because a lot of people, no, I'm just here for the job. No, we need to say, hey, you know what? Teacher X in room 13, we all need to go see him or her because they rock at this, whatever the vision. And you know what the best PD is? In your own campus. The best PD is found there because you deal with the same type of kid.
Exactly.
Your kid is different than my kid in Garland, especially in my campus. So you know who are the experts? The ones that have been there 5-6 years. They know how to deal with that population. But if we don't bend the knee to our pride and we don't create the culture of learning from each other, then that school will be that little white dog that chases his tail.
Awesome.
I like that.
Woo, I can keep going and going, but we have to wrap up. So we're going to do our final tip and advice, and then tell us a little bit how to reach you guys. I know we can find y'all in the village, but where can we reach y'all? So we'll start with Sean. Where can people connect with Sean other than within the village? And give us a final tidbit on building a positive school culture.
I would say building school culture is very important for all parties in concern. I call education a trinity. It's the staff, it's the parents, and it's the students. So it's very important that you build that culture so that those three parties feel important to one another, that they have a great relationship, that they are open with one another, so that the child can be the success of that great relationship. So that's why it's crucially important that we have positive school culture and that we learn from one another and understand that, like Brother was saying, that, you do in this time, you do need those mental health breaks and all those. So it's very important for the success of for the future global leaders. And so you can find Sean at risementorshipacademy@gmail.com or www.risementorshipacademynyc.com. Thank you.
And you didn't write that down. You can find them within the village.
Yes, and I'm always in the village. I'm always in the
Always in the village.
Sean at the village.
Right.
.com.
We need to give him. He needs a village email. Yes. All right, Josh. Final advice. I mean, you always have the words of wisdom, and then tell us how folks can find you.
We're human beings, and sometimes because of life and the noise out there, when we show up on Monday, the glass is half full people. On Tuesday, the glass is half empty people. It depends on because we're human. Okay, we have feelings, we have baggage, good and bad. So the whole thing is what I ask all of you is, I don't want you to think about the glass half full, glass empty. I want you to be the pitcher full of water that when anyone needs that refill, that you're there to support them with love, positive messages, and support. Be the pitcher of water that fills another human being with joy and prosperity. So be not the glass is half full, not the glass is half empty, but be the pitcher of life for your calling, for your students, because that's why you're there. You're there to help this current generation and your team members that are going through the same journey as you are on that campus. So
I love that.
So you can reach me. You can see my name right there. On MPA Jaguars is Memorial Pathway Academy in Garland ISD. So MPA Jaguars, you can find me on TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, and where we should all be connecting as educators on Twitter. Because if you're not on social media, you still rent your movies at Blockbuster. You still buy your pants at Montgomery Ward. So put down your beta tapes and get into social media, because now it's the 21st century.
Exactly. Well, thank you guys for coming back to the village and joining us live today. We appreciate you again.
And hosting a little bit.
Exactly. We are not going to give up on this mission of empowering our teachers, encouraging educators, and coming together to share best practice. We want to keep this going. You know, most of us started this during the pandemic, and we're still going. So I appreciate the village so much. Thank you for joining us.
Thank you guys so much.
Listen, that was really good. That was good. So again, thanks y'all so much for joining the village. Thank you. Join the discussion. We'd love to hear from you. Add your comments. And remember, we are publishing. We are going to launch our book. We talk about
it's right there
this collaborative school culture. We put it down in a little book, a little something. Set your team on fire. The 3 elements of a professional learning community. That's right, by yours truly, Dr. Roz and Coach Williams. So we will be sharing more about that, but it's all about what we've been talking about. Building a collaborative culture, making sure that we encourage our teachers to be leaders, because teacher leadership is a mindset,
not a position.
So continue to follow us on Facebook and Instagram at The Village LG. And see you next time.
Bye, y'all.